Greetings and salutations. Second Star right back with more Raid Shadow Legends, and today on screen we're going to talk about this incredible champion that I've been having a lot of fun with, Chani. Who's Chani, you say? Don't say who's Chani. Okay, don't, because Chani sounds way too much like Johnny, and whenever I think of it, I get this, and see if you're feeling me on this one. Do you remember this? Anyone from that movie Short Circuit, 1985? I hate this song. Chani. I can't not hear it. Like every time I say the word Chani, this song comes in my head, and I get Chani. Seriously, I don't understand why this song exists. It is so bad. It's horrible. Look at this guy. Look, what's with his perfectly coiffed hair and his suit? Chani. Yeah. Oh, and what a horrible time to pause the video. Look at that. Look at that face. El DeBarge, 1985. Short Circuit. And, you know, it gets worse, because this bothered me too. Let's go back to like 7 seconds into the video, right? And let's see if we can... Okay, so here we go. Here's Ali Sheedy. She showed up for the video shoot, right? There's Steve Guttenberg as a cardboard cutout. The other co-star doesn't even bother to show up for the video shoot. Okay, so I contend that Ali Sheedy had just as good in 1985 as Steve Guttenberg did. Okay, so Ali Sheedy was in St. Elmo's Fire. She was in Short Circuit, and she was in Breakfast Club. All 1985, right? Classics. Steve Guttenberg, sure, he was in Short Circuit, and he was in Police Academy 2, and he was in Cocoon. Okay, granted, all good movies, but does that just make him just able to say, I don't want to show up for your video because I'm Steve Guttenberg and I'm a huge popular star? Well, Ali Sheedy is like, yeah, I'll show up. Thank you guys for giving me the opportunity. I don't know what to say, right? In this song, it's just I can't even, like, in what, 1985, The Dead Milkmen came out with Big Lizard in My Backyard, an all-time classic. New Order Lowlife, The Cure, Head on the Door, right? The same year that this comes out, and Susudio by Phil Collins, and We Built This City. I hate those songs. I hate them. And yet all these other fantastic stuff came out the same year. I don't know, man. The 80s were so weird. Such a weird decade. Especially around the middle. They got really weird in the mid-80s. All right, I blame Reagan. Okay, so let's move on, shall we? Okay, so now we know that who Chani is not Johnny, and she's not number 5 is alive. She's an epic Shadowkin, and she has an amazing skill set. Let's look at her right quick. And sorry for that tangent, but I make connections. Okay, so Insidious Arrow is her A1. Okay, attacks one enemy with a 40% chance of placing a poison sensitivity buff for 2 turns. Okay, which is great. You can also get this 40% chance up to a 50-60% chance, which you really should do. I did not book her because I am so low on legendary books that I didn't want to, right? But this is a champion where books actually do her a lot of good. And I'm thinking in retrospect, I think she probably would have been even more effective fully booked. I did not do so, but I would recommend it. It's actually really good to have her land her debuffs because she's really debuff heavy. So having accuracy is really good, and getting them from your skills as well as your gear and your masteries is a good thing. I didn't do it. I'm sorry, but you know I've been hanging on to my legendary books like they were money. Okay, so the funny thing though about her poison sensitivity on her A1 is that spoiler alert, she doesn't actually deposit any poisons herself. So let's move on and we'll see what she does do though. Soulfire is her A2, places a 50% increased accuracy buff and a 50% increased attack buff on the champion for 2 turns, then attacks an enemy, places a HP burn debuff for 2 turns if the attack is critical. Okay, so making your 100% crit is an important thing, or running with some champions that can increase your crit is an important thing to do also. It's on a 4-turn cooldown that you can get down to 3 turns, which is really good. Again, I'm lamenting the fact that I didn't book her. I probably should have done that. but maybe I will when I have a better inventory of legendary books, because I just don't right now. Shower of Misery attacks all enemies with a 50% chance of increasing the duration of all debuffs by 1 turn. So that's really cool. So she's a debuff extender. Granted, it's only 1 turn, but she's epic. It's kind of difficult to find champions that have that skill set and this much versatility. A lot of people will use Bulwark as that because he's only a rare, but he's really only good in Clan Boss. It's kind of hard to make Bulwark super effective elsewhere, without really specific team compositions. But she is a debuff extender that does a lot of damage also. It's actually really cool. She's like a little mini Ovelis in that regard sometimes. Sure Shot is her passive. She's immune to decreased accuracy debuffs, which is pretty cool in a lot of places, especially in Arena. It increases the champion's crit rate by 0.05 for every point of accuracy they do have. Okay, so when you're building, you can kind of look at your crit rate and maybe fudge it just a little bit, knowing that you're going to be increasing your crit rate for your accuracy. Okay, so let's look at the artifacts that I have right now. Now, she's right now built for Clan Boss. I wanted to give her a shot in Clan Boss and see how she did, and she was okay. She held her own. We'll take a look at the results later. But right now, her stats are thusly. Right? Accuracy 203, crit damage 139, which isn't great, but what are you gonna do? Critical rate 107. Speed's a little slow, but it's okay because I usually have her in a counterattack team. Defense, she is squishy, right? But her base defense actually isn't that bad. I think it's 949, 947, something like that, which is, again, low, but for an attacker, it's actually not that bad. She's like 200 points higher than Coldheart, for instance, just to give you an idea. Okay, and then 4,200 attack, which is healthy, right? So built for Clan Boss. Again, she doesn't put her own poisons on there, so you're definitely going to make sure that she rides along, with a poisoner. And again, I will show you some results later on. But the way I did most of the other content, I actually had her in a toxic set, kind of like I did with was it Corpse Collector? I think one of the ones that just benefited from doubling down on toxicity. So thanks to the filter here, where we can go into the fitting room, we can just put that gear back on and look at the stats, because I did forget to record what I had. But that's easily rectified because I just did. I was all 1 for 1. So whatever's lifesteal is toxic. So there's that. There's that. I only got this one up to 12. I think silver's been tight lately. And some speed that I had laying around. Okay, so I imagine most people probably have, you sell most of your toxic stuff because the low version of poison you generally don't want to place. If you already have a team that can put in, 10 debuffs, you don't want the crappy version of poison pushing off a debuff you really need. But I thought in this case, because she has the poison sensitivity on her A1, this kind of makes it kind of sort of like it's the big version of poison. It doesn't actually work out mathematically like that, but it makes me feel better psychologically. So she's actually a lot of fun to use in a toxic set, because when it places the buff, she's able to buff it with her A1 when it lands, which is really quite cool. So you see the difference here. We lose a little bit of accuracy with this toxic set on, but it makes up for it with poison ticks every turn that poison's applied. Okay, so let's look at masteries right quick. Okay, now I doubled down on her accuracy here, again, because I'm really focusing on her debuffs. And then just do this straightforward, going all the way down to War Master, because she has a single attack A1, so that makes sense. So, again, this is nothing really surprising. This is all very straightforward on this particular champion. Let's look at some battles. Where am I? Okay, so first thing here, this is Clan Boss in her lifesteal set. I had paired her with Draco, and again, she only did 3.4 million, and it's only 20.6 million damage. It's not great. She did catch an unlucky stun, and was unable to use a tier 6 to heal, because you notice here I don't have any healers in there, and so that's what happened. And it happened quite often. I was always, whenever I ran this, it always was around 20 million. There's usually a little bit more, 21, 22, in a double counterattack setup here. With Draco Morph spreading the poison, so she does make everyone else better. So you can't just look at her statistics and say, oh, well, she only did 3.4 million, which isn't bad, but isn't necessarily what you're looking for out of an attack champion. But she's made everyone else better. She extended all the debuffs. So she's extending the poisons, she's extending the attack downs, she's extending the defense downs. If you have a leech team, she can extend the leeches. Really a pretty good champion for clan boss. I didn't have her quite optimized for it, but still, I really suggest, if you don't have a poisoner, because again, she runs into the same problem that like you might run in with Kale, where you don't want Kale's small version of the poison to be on your clan boss. But if you don't have a lot of options, right, in that area, take a look at Chani on a leech team in a toxic set. Something to think about. Okay, let's move on to the next thing. This is measuring her A1, I believe. Let's see what I'm doing here. Yeah, so that's her A1 in a lifesteal set, just a 40,000 A1, using all of the buffs and debuffs, the best buffs and debuffs possible. So we have crit, increased attack, increased crit damage. Then over here they have defense down, weaken, and take more crit damage. So that's pretty much an ideal scenario that doesn't necessarily happen a lot in the wild, but I just want to give an example of what her damage output is on her A1. Now, this is the toxic set, so again, that's a little bit different, but it's close enough. And this is, she's going to do her A2 here after we buff and debuff. So Draco's going to defense down, weaken. Golem is going to make everyone more sensitive to crit damage, and Shower of Misery. Oh no, we're gonna do Soul Fire. So this is her HP burn attack, and it's gonna land for 69,000 and an HP burn. Pretty decent output there. And now we will move up to her A3. I'm assuming. Okay, A3, same scenario, same buffs and debuffs, and we will do this. Boom. I love the animation too, with the shark jaws coming down and chomping everybody and extending all the debuffs. So you notice, let's replay this. If you look at all the debuff counters here, she's going to do her attack. And not only is it going to do between 35 and 45,000 damage to everybody, it's also going to increase their debuff ticks. It's only one turn, but still, not bad for an attack champion on AoE A3. It's a nice skill. I like Chani a lot. Okay, so this is Ice Golem. Again, this is Ice Golem 20. I can do the higher levels, it just takes forever. So I'm just, for the purpose of displaying what a champion can do, we're just going to use 20. All right, and now of course the problem is, as soon as they put up their reflect damage, things are going to get difficult for your team. This just happens a lot, especially when you have a lot of debuffs like I do right here. And there we go. She A3'd, which was great in extending all the debuffs, but she killed herself. Fortunately, running with a Reser, so we're all good. Okay, moving on here. Now, this is what I was talking about earlier, where I did not book her out, so she only has that 40% chance of landing the poison sensitivity. I do not believe that she lands a poison sensitivity at all in this entire boss fight. It's just one of those things that happens when it's a risk you take when you don't book, right? So before even factoring in the accuracy, which the toxic set for her is only 175, you probably want to be around 200, but regardless, I thought I'd be able to get by. But without booking and getting that extra 20% on her A1, the 60% from 40%, you can really tell the difference, right? So she does not extend any debuffs at all. She's able to apply her poisons, so we actually get some good results from applying poisons from her toxic set, because when it's a set, she can apply it from any attack. It's not just, one attack like a lot of poisoners. So in that regard, you will see, there's one up there right now, along with Draco's awesome debuffs. We have the little poison up there too. But, sometimes just every little bit helps, right? And here she is. She did 1.2 million, so she's behind Coldheart. But that's to be expected. But she did outpace Draco, which is interesting because she's actually making Draco better also by extending all this stuff. So she held her own nicely on Ice Golems. What do we have next? Spider. So if you're not cheesing Spider with Renegades and Renegades in multiple Cold Hearts and Royal Guards and everything, this is just the standard miscreated monster tanking Spider team, right? So what do I have here? I have counterattacks with Martyr, Cold Heart, of course, for the enemy max HP damage, and Chani is coming in, bringing in debuff extensions, poisons, and HP burn. So she brings a lot of utility to Spider. She's going to need some help, of course. Again, super squishy, not as squishy as Cold Heart, but she's not in Lifesteal. She's in her Toxic set, so she's going to need a little bit of extra TLC. But she holds her own, right? She does a good job extending the buff. She won't extend, the turn manipulation debuffs, so she won't extend provokes, she won't extend stuns or freezes or anything like that. But all the ticks, she will extend. Poisons, defense downs, weakens, leeches, all that good stuff. She will extend. And she's doing some decent damage, right? Not bad at all. And look at all those debuffs. It's so pretty. Now, she's not bringing any turn meter manipulation, which is, you'd like to see on Spider. But I'm just powering through here instead. The only turn meter I have is Cold Hearts. Let me see in action right there. Cold Heart done pissed him off. Look at all those poison stacks. But it won't matter. Alright, so he extended everything but the stuns and the fears on that last AoE that she put out. Nice hit. Some counterattacking Cold Heart and Killing Blow. Okay, great. 4 million damage, outdoing, 3.6 million, so she was keeping pace with Cold Heart. You can't complain, right? And that's a pretty good output and a lot of versatility, bringing a lot of utility to the fight. Chani shines in Spider. Probably much the only place that she doesn't really shine, of course, is a Fire Knight. She just doesn't really have the, especially in the later levels where it's really hard to have a single hit person in there when you have so many, shield counters that you need to get down. But again, Poison is really good on Dragon, and so her in a Toxic set or helping out with Draco. I've also ran her without Draco Morph just to see if she can do it on her own, and she does. It just takes longer, right? But it's totally viable just to run Chani in a Toxic set on these boss fights. You just have to outlast them is all. Bringing good support is important, though, especially because these waves, they do hit really hard, and she is attack champion and is squishy. So I have Canoness in here, and if you saw my video on Canoness, she was a really, really good bodyguard that can keep an eye on a champion constantly. She can constantly have ally protect up, which is a really, really good shielding buff. Also I have Kaden in case things go pear-shaped. Kaden can just come in and res some people. Alright, now we've gotten to the boss, and we will see Chani put up poison sensitivity and a toxic counter, so she's already proven her worth from the very first turn that she takes against Dragon. And then Draco's up. He's going to do his thing because Dracomorph is amazing in Dragon. Laying down an HP burn. More poison sensitivity. More poison. And there we go. You know, she's really carrying her weight in this fight. Yeah. So again, we have Draco at 1.1 million, and who's usually the star of any Dragon team outside of Zavia. Chani came here with 1.4 million. Again, just a really good, fun champion who can carry her weight in a lot of different places. And here's Arena, where we have Rector, Ursala, Ghostborn, and Stag Knight. We'll see what we do here. Okay, so we've chosen Ghostborn to block buffs on because we know that there's going to be the invisibility there, the veil. So we're going to get rid of Ghostborn first, it looks like. Alright, there's no buff blockers, so we will taunt. And then we'll taunt some more with Martyr this time. So we juggled some taunts, so they can't really attack. We'll extend our buffs, and we will extend their debuffs. Wipe out Ghostborn. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Just A1 them. Alright, so we got rid of Ursala. We have Stag Knight and Rector left. Rector will probably res Ursala. Nope, gonna res Ghostborn. Res Ghostborn. Solid hit. Alright, get rid of Rector, and now we just have to deal with Ghostborn again. And we will make quick work of this, I am sure. With right here, 24-5. Not a bad hit on her A1 against Ghostborn. So she's good. She's good everywhere. I mean, Chani is just a really good, reliable champion. This is. Oh, I just did that again. Okay, so that's it. That's Chani in a nutshell. She in a toxic set, she can go anywhere, right? And again, I'm not a big proponent of toxic sets because the low version of poison is stupid to use if you have the higher version of poison available. But I think in this case, exceptions can be made because she has the poison sensitivity on her A1, so she can kind of go it alone in a lot of places if you don't have a lot of versatile other poisoners that are versatile. Chani can kind of fill that role, get a couple more ticks of damage, on the opponent's turn, and that can only be a benefit really if you don't have 10 debuffs running against your opponent that you want. Just add in some toxic from Chani, and she has the poison sensitivity, so it makes it worthwhile, right? Doesn't make it totally 5%, but it's still, you're still maximizing, the skill set of your champion by doing that. And I always think that's a good thing. So if you have any questions, let me know. If you enjoyed the video, throw me a like. Subscribe if you want to see more, and I appreciate your spending some time with Chani, who is seriously one of my favorite champions right now to use. I try to integrate her in as many teams as possible. She is a lot of fun. So let me know what you guys are up to. Put in the comments some of your favorite champions or who you might want me to take a look at next. I'll see what I got. And I will see you guys next